Hello, welcome to another episode of Brenda's Musings. So today I want to talk to you about love, particularly about self-love, because it's Valentine's Day. And even though it's a day that we generally focus on, romantic love, I think ultimately it has to start with ourselves. You cannot pour from an empty cup. You can go through the motions, but at the end of the day, it's the deepest love comes from self. And so you have to love yourself, and you have to love all parts of yourself. And that's the really tough part, right? We often hear how we talk to ourselves in ways we would never talk to our friends. In some ways we would never talk to our enemies. And I think that there's great power in being able to look yourself in the eye in the mirror. And I challenge you to do this every day. I challenge you to do it 3 times a day, but at least try it once. And just be with yourself. Look yourself in the eye, in the mirror, and just monitor the thoughts that float in front of you. Don't force anything, just monitor them and think about how it is that you see yourself. I can pretty much guarantee you that you're going to see beautiful points of light and you're going to see the darkness of your soul. And you just have to be okay with that. You have to know that we are complex human beings, and you can't beat yourself up over, dark thoughts. You can't, it always comes at 2 ends of the spectrum. We hardly ever show anybody our brightest light, and we hardly ever show anybody our darkest soul. And there's no need to. Every day you just go out and you be yourself. And hopefully you are the best version of yourself. And I know I say that all the time, but in loving yourself, it's just about embracing and accepting. And, we can't embrace and accept other people if we can't embrace and accept ourselves. We can't cast stones from a glass house. I'm pulling out every possible cliche I can, aren't I? But do you know what I mean? Self-love is tough, because we know the darkest parts of our souls. And, sometimes that brings fear. Sometimes that brings what if somebody else sees that part of me? Or, what if somebody sees that I'm just faking it until I make it? Or what if somebody sees, these little cracks or crevices in our armor that we tend to build up because we've been hurt or disappointed, or all those icky feelings that come up when we have expectations of others for ourselves. And when you look at some of the people that you might most admire, I can pretty much guarantee you that you have seen them vulnerable, that you have seen them maybe at their lowest point and maybe at their highest point, but you have seen the chinks in their armor, and you have come to admire them for, putting themselves out there. And while admiration is great, look at it as a lesson as to what is possible for you. Because you know what? It's really freeing when you go out there and you just, I don't mean bare your soul, your deepest, darkest secrets, that kind of thing, but when you just go out there and be vulnerable and just sort of say, you know what? Today's not a good day, or today is a magnificent day, or, and say why, or some indication of why. Some of you have shared things with me that are just absolutely beautiful, and they're vulnerable. And I appreciate that fact that you've been able to trust me with that. And I hope that, in me being vulnerable, that is, hit home with you as well. Because at the end of the day, we're just who we are. And we're all made of the same kind of stuff. I mean, our thoughts might be different. Our experiences are definitely different. The way we look at the world might be different. But at the end of the day, we're all human beings. We're all in this world. And so don't let the fear stop you from looking at yourself. Don't let the fear stop you from showing that person to the world. Look in the mirror every day and tell yourself how much you love yourself. And it's going to feel awkward and horrible and like, what the heck, when you first start doing it. But I can guarantee you that fairly quickly, you're really going to appreciate that feeling of being told how much you're loved, particularly by yourself. And that's my musing for today. Have a great one, everyone.